Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the fossil Pokemon of, well, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, as of right now, in both of my games, I only have Arctozolt, which, needless to say, is kind of sad. For those of you who don't know, you can take your fossils to Carolus, and she will combine them into new creatures, which it's really creepy and disgusting. Oh, I guess I actually have the Dracozoa as well. But the important fact of the matter is that there are some weird Pokemon, and Arctozolt and Dracozolt, both as well as the other two fossils, both expressly explain how they suffered and how they will suffer. And it's an important thing to understand is that this happened in real life, and it actually happens a lot more often than you would think. Out in the world, there are people who want to prevent people from learning. They decide, oh, we want to make sure that everyone knows these specific things, and that evolution is the only fact. And because of the fact that there is actually no evidence of missing links for most evolutions, they craft together these monstrosities that honestly don't make sense. Like what I just showed you with Arctozolt and Dracozolt. And there are a lot of people who do this. Obviously, sometimes it has been proven fake, and people get all pissed off about it. But people also want there to be proof of evolution. So some people will continue to believe that this actually happened, when in actuality, it didn't. The problem is that nowadays everyone believes in evolution. And as a creationist, it's confusing to me that so many people believe that evolution is the only way that the Earth could have come to be. But it's mostly because of the fact that most people go to public schools where they are specifically taught, hey, this is the way things are. Evolution is the only way things could have been. Which, honestly, that's not the case. Whether or not you decide to believe me in this video is up to you. But I am going to simply lay out the facts that we believe as creationists and let you decide. First off, even evolutionists know that there are people who are faking these fossils of ancient people that are somewhere in between these different races. People have actually talked a little bit about this with there being like a weird creature that had like an orangutan jaw and a human skull, and it's annoying. It really, really is annoying that people assume that, oh, these things have to be the actual case. But in actuality, they're not. Quite honestly, the only real evidence that people will actually give you to explain how old the universe is roundabout examples. Oh, there are layers in the Earth, and these must depict how old the Earth is, just like how trees are done. But and there are fossils that are going between these things, which we then use to mark how old the Earth is. But we find out how old the Earth is by using the stone. You see what I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Basically, people are saying that we can look at the stone and figure out how old the Earth is. But we also see that there are these dinosaurs that live in that are in the stone, many of which are actually in multiple levels of this stone. Like, some people will actually say, "Oh, look, this exact fossil is both in what this stone area that we thought was the Cretaceous period, but it's also in this other one that is a completely different period." And then they explain that, oh yeah, there's like minor floods and blah blah blah. And the simple fact of the matter is that most of these fossils are old. No exact details can be exactly found. No matter how much we want to believe that there are real details that expressly state how old the Earth is, there's really nothing. Now, as for the idea of, oh, the Earth has to be the world has to be millions of years old because stars that are most likely dead we see. Creationists actually believe in something that we call what I don't know if it has a name, but it's basically we believe that God created the Earth as old, not necessarily old like old and decrepit, but rather he created it so that there was stuff here, stuff that under normal circumstances will take thousands and thousands of years. But in this, but it's also believed that humans, along with every other creature, was born as adults. Adam and Eve were created as adults. They weren't created as children. And the same goes for chickens, for dinosaurs even. All of these creatures were created at the same time in the Garden of Eden, and they were all created as adults. Eventually, children would come to be, but at the first beginnings, we were all adults. And we continue to grow, so on and so forth. The world changed. The entire world had to change, though, because of our mistake. Now, some people may point to Pangea and how did these fossils get buried in all of these different layers? Well, creationists actually have, actually all Christians have the answer. The flood. During the flood, the entire world was covered in water for 40 days and 40 nights. And let's be honest, any flood moves ground around a lot, which could explain very easily how the idea of Pangea could have come about, how maybe the world was at one point one giant continent, but eventually when the flood happened, they were all separated and it created new land masses. Definitely a possibility. And that's what we as Christians believe. Most Christians will actually agree with this fact. There are people who will still believe in the idea of evolution, do not get me wrong. But that's mostly because of the fact that they've been taught this their entire lives. So, yeah, that would explain why there are sea creatures that are literally on the tops of mountains. Why there are T-Rex bones in every single rock layer. Why there are so many layers in the world, and these dinosaurs are buried between multiple. Quite simply, the flood had to happen. and bury these dinosaurs in a way that would prove that the world has aged. Some people don't believe it, but that's the facts. And do you have to believe this? No, I am not requiring you to believe this, but I do have to explain how I believe things to be, and I'm honestly starting to think that Pokemon may actually be realizing these exact details now that perhaps they now have Christian or creationist people working with them now, who now know about these things, and they want to at least bring some attention to them. While this may just be a reference to that one guy or a few guys who made fake missing links, we also have to understand that creationists have been explaining this stuff for years. Hundreds of years. Not hundreds, but still, a long time. And most people believe this up until Darwin. So, just saying. Whether you believe me or not, cool. But hopefully you can understand this. And Pokemon, thank you for actually tackling this topic. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. Leave your theories down in the comments. Make sure to use the hashtag #TheoryReview. And of course, if you guys are new, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on.